your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West. Here to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it in this week. Now, as usual, I give you the top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it first, followed by a movie clip, a skit, a trailer, or something that's going on in the community, or maybe some pictures. And then I'll give you the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it, folks. Let's waste no time. Oh, yeah. Let's get to it. Story number 1. What's in Lynn Morrow's plan? Ed Runyon has a report published April 18th providing some important information for those concerned about the local justice system. Now, it appears that Mahoning County Prosecutor Lynn Morrow addressed an audience to inform the local community about her plans. Now, the article informs the reader on the changes she's made to the grand jury process. Now, the continued string of criminal cases making headlines is what got this story in, thus keeping the attention on how local cases are being processed. That's why story number 1 made it this week. Story number 2. What's next for Camel after the loss of their mayor? After the sudden death of Camel Mayor Brian Tedesco, Sheen Barron has a Vindicator report published April 18th with an update on who will take over next. Now, Mayor George Levendis is the next man in line. Now, the article says that he has his sights set on using an estimated $1.5 million in grants to build an access road off State Route 616 that could lead to a full-service grocery store. Now, the report goes on to say that he plans to remediate and develop about 30 acres of brownfield property near the former Youngstown Sheet and Tube Camel Works property. Now, the article also talks about plans to draw more business in the area. Those are some of his plans. Now, that's what got the story into the top 8. That's why story number 2 made it. Story number 3, $2.7 million for street upgrades. David Skolnick has a report published April 24th and what looks like another big investment into downtown Youngstown. $2,756,473 is the amount for a major downtown improvement project for sections of Bourbon and Walnut Streets. Now, the work includes resurfacing, drainage rehabilitation, new curb ramps, signage, and road striping. Now, Wood Street from Belmont Avenue to Wick Avenue, McGuffey Road from Jacobs Road to State Route 616, Sheridan Road from State Route 170 to Powers Way, and Powers Way from Sheridan Road to Pine Hollow Bridge were all mentioned in the report to be upgraded. That's why story number 3 made it this week. Story number 4. The Foxconn news is back in the headlines. Been out for a while. Foxconn is back in the headlines, and I guess the article that was published April 21st says that it appears that the anticipation for a $26 million Foxconn investment is growing, but the article mentions tariffs as a factor in the funding plans. Now, it is important to note that Foxconn has already invested $500 million into the Lordstown facility since it was acquired in 2022. Now, the update on the vision of Voltage Valley is what got the story in. That's why story number 4 made it. Story number 5. New housing programs in the headlines. David Skolnick has a report published April 19th focusing on a housing program in Youngstown. The city is set to use $5 million in American Rescue Plan funds for upgrades to local homes for those who apply. Now, the report says that the program is intended to increase the value of homes in Youngstown. The program includes house painting, installation or replacement of shutters or awnings, window replacements, sidewalk and or driveway replacement, siding replacement, step replacement, and repairs and garage repairs. This is word for word in the report. Now the report is worth a read for those interested because the $2 million landlord loan fund will allow property owners to borrow up to $50,000 per single family property and up to $100,000 for multi-unit houses at 2% interest for up to 5 years. That's our story number 5. Story number 6, 224 safety project in Boardman approved. $6.5 million for removing 3 traffic lights along U.S. Route 224. This is part due to a $319.3 million investment into 14 transportation projects in 14 counties, which includes $6,500,000 for Boardman, according to the report. The article goes on to explain how the funding will be used for roadway and safety enhancements and improve access management. The article also informs the reader that it is unknown when the work will begin. The article was published by Sarah Robles of WFMJ. Now it is very detailed. The article is very detailed and really succeeds at explaining what will take place once the investment is put into action. That's why story number 6 also made it to the top 2 this week. Big spending, big help. Story number 7 and the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories that made this week for you to keep you informed, folks. If you do want the show to show some support, it does not take much. All you have to do is visit the website on the screen, buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, order a sponsored program. Or you can stop at the store at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio and see my smiling face. Buy something in the store. Well, folks, let's get to these top 2. Story number 7. What is in issue 2? Dan Pompley has a report published April 17th out of the Vindicator after Boardman trustees on Monday passed a resolution reclaiming the township's support for Ohio Public Workers Commission's State Capital Improvement Program. Now, the report plans, the report explains how the program, which provides millions for local paving and infrastructure, is set to expire. Now, the main talking point in the report is just to urge residents to vote yes on issue 2 because it's greatly needed. Story number 7 also made it to the top this week. Big help. Story number 8 and the top local headline and developing news story that made this week for you. Keep you informed. Extra. Read all about it. Stories for you, folks. If you don't get up this early, you do want to check out the show, you want to stay informed or know what's going on during the week, you can always tune into the website. I upload all the shows to the website on the screen on Mondays. So let's get to this top story. Story number 8. Downtown businesses continue to speak out. Businesses need customers, folks. They need activity, they need support, they need loans, all the etc. Well, Penguin City owner and many other businesses owners downtown in downtown Youngstown continue to speak out about their concerns when it comes to how businesses are doing downtown. WFMJ has a headline focusing on a but in the report, which says that but downtown district's future prosperity is uncertain. That means that they're going on with business as usual, but right now things are uncertain. The prosperity is uncertain. The article cites road closures and the continued bad press focusing on downtown, which has really made it hard for downtown businesses. Now, the report goes on to explain how the COVID-19 pandemic, construction driven road closures, and the Realty Tower explosion and subsequent demolition has left many downtown businesses with no choice but to pick up and leave. Folks, the article is definitely worth a read for those looking for an answer to the call to bring more activity back to downtown Youngstown. Folks, the article is presented from a business owner's perspective and is definitely worth a read, folks. This story is still developing. I'm Storm Rate. Made to the top this week. Well, folks, there are top 8 local headlines developing news stories that made this week. I'll be right back with the top 8 international headlines developing news stories. So don't you go anywhere. The Mediator, me, Brian West. I'll be right back.
Tune in and don't forget to subscribe to Method 8 Inc. YouTube channel. You can also watch free public entertainment. And don't forget to show some support by visiting www.method8inc.com by buying something, clicking something, watching something, or just reading something. You can also sponsor a program as well. That's www.method8inc.com. Buy stuff, watch stuff, or read stuff.
What does Method8Inc.com Media Center have that I need?
Small prints, event consulting, photography, business consulting, technical consulting, entertainment consulting, fundraising advice, event videography, movies, news, publishing, media, books, entertainment, acting, broadcasting, public relations, access to the visual and performing arts, ink and black ink refills, audio recording, graphic design, theater, minor computer and cell phone repair, and they're located at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. every Monday through Friday. The list goes on and on.
Method8Inc.com. Buy stuff, watch stuff, or read stuff.
Oh yeah! And yes, we are chipmunks.
Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 8 international headlines in developing news stories that mainly, folks, a lot of people are passing away, catching fatal diseases like cancer. I mean, the Pope just passed away at 88 years old. We had Roberta Flack passed away. Just a long list of people who you just think are going to live forever. Pope Francis passed away. And the crazy thing about it is when he passed after Easter. It's pretty scary, it's just a lot of things that are just confusing in life, right now, because this is probably one of the most critical times that in history where you have a lot of poor people and a lot of things happening in politics and issues, and this is like crunch time for Christianity, because there are a lot of people in need, and the leader of the Catholic Church, Catholic is a section of Christianity, just dies. But he's pretty, as I said, he was pretty up there in age. But a lot of people got questions, people got questions about Jesus and resurrection, and even in religions, people just got a lot of questions. And yes, he just died. Seen the vice president of the United States, and just after that, just passed away of a stroke. And he was already in bad health, but it just kind of makes you wonder, where we're headed in this world. I mean, people are starting to really. A lot of people are losing their faith, and not a lot of people. They say attendance in churches are going down, and you have a lot of smart academics out there now. They're proving things that there's a planet on another planet behind the moon somewhere, and it just kind of makes you wonder, is Jesus ever going to come back, or is the Pope just that's where we're headed. People got some questions. You're sitting in class and you got to answer kids' questions. They're raising their hands and they're wondering about their own feelings and love. And some people are just giving up on the idea. Nobody wants to really read their Bible. It's kind of hard, to explain things now to children. But we're going to keep on chugging along. The thing about life is people come and go, but the show must go on either way. Science can prove tomorrow that man has an arm that could come out of his neck, and we have evolved into some evolutionary species with 5 or 8 more toes on our neck, and either way, life goes on. I was going to make a song about it, but matter of fact, I will sing a song about it. It's called Feeling Blue on a Sunny Day. The sun came out, yeah. And either way, I'm feeling blue. Either way, I'm feeling new. No matter what, the sun is shining. It's springtime. And either way, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling blue. I'm feeling brand new. That's it, Brian. That's it, Brian. Oh, Brian. Let's waste no time, folks. Let's get to it. Story number 1. Speaking of feeling blue, Trump's base continues to fight to calm the masses over his trade war. As Trump's trade war intensifies, Trump's base continues to be on defense about the president's reasoning behind the tariffs, and it's continued. All these tariffs that he's talking about continues to dominate top headlines. Now, here are a few headlines keeping the impact of Trump's tariffs in top headlines. BBC News says that China is sending Boeing planes back to the U.S. over tariffs. They don't want them. The CNBC has a headline stating that a dozen states are suing Trump in a bid to block new tariffs. The Hill has a headline published April 22nd stating that Jerome Powell's Fed won't rescue Trump from his tariff mess. NPR has multiple reports focusing on how a number of businesses were unprepared for Trump's trade tariff wars and has sent many of them to the bankruptcy lines and many of them closing. Folks, this story is still developing. That's story number 1. Story number 2. Why is the Russia-Ukraine war still dragging on? Another huge attack by Russia on Ukraine continues to keep U.S. diplomats busy. This is after numerous headlines have surfaced focusing on peace talks in the region that seem to be getting nowhere and gaining everybody's attention. Now, this story shows a strained out U.S. along with everybody else who's involved with this war with no way of recouping a return on the investment into this war. Now, United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio has made it clear that this war is draining the life out of everyone involved and has to stop. Folks, this story is still developing. That's why story number 2 made it this week. Story number 3. Trump's healthcare system so far. With a number of healthcare facilities in a financial mess, Politico has a headline focusing on how many clinics have begun closing as the Trump administration continues to freeze family planning funds. Now, this is due to dozens of medical providers in a struggle to stay afloat since more than $65 million for the Title X family planning program was withheld on April 1st, thus getting this story into the top 8. So far, Trump has delivered on his pro-life message agenda, now pushing to award families for having children. Folks, this story is still developing because even though the pro-life message is real, it's leaving a lot of people in the dust. That's why story number 3 made it this week. Big. Story number 4. Is the border problem solved? Yes, Trump ran ads in Mexico telling Mexicans not to cross the border. And yes, Trump's border stance seems to be working. The Wall Street Journal has a report explaining how border crossings have grinded to a halt as Trump's tough policies have resulted in illegal crossings at the southern border and now at their lowest level in decades. The story is filled with information on what appears to be a complete border win for Trump so far. Folks, this story has the border stories fading in and out of top headlines. That's what story number 4 made this week. We'll focus on our top 4 international headlines developing news stories that made this week. I'll be right back with the top 4. So don't you go in here in the Mediator. Me, Brian West. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 4 international headlines and developing news stories that made this week, folks. You know, I'm not going to lie. After seeing Marco Rubio's plea that Russia somehow end this war with Ukraine, I mean, I'm actually starting to feel a little sorry for politicians, you know. Being a politician has got to be a tough job. You know, you have to be bothered when you don't want to be bothered. You have to spend taxpayers' money when you can't spend taxpayers' money. You have to lie. You have to cheat. You have to make it look honestly good. Then you have to look like you're a heavenly saint at times to get votes. Being a politician is probably not easy because you have to be like you're saintly when you have some devil in you. Every time you're on TV, you have to hug people and show them that you care and it feel like you're walking on water when that's not really the case. And it's sad. It's so sad that people don't want to talk politics because they're afraid of that if they talk politics, they can lose their own well-being. And then if they talk politics, they may lose their own benefits and losing. It's a serious business that exists. And the sad part about it is that we, the people, have to come together. And I have been thinking about calling relatives that I haven't talked to in a long time just to see how they're doing, knowing that they probably will not answer the phone. Oh, yes. Aunt Denise, how are you? How's it going? You know, Grandma never told me too much about her political beliefs, and I can understand why she would keep things like that a secret. Oh, okay. Oh, is that how you vote? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm not going to tell you who I voted for, no, because if I do, this would be a nasty conversation. And you wouldn't agree with all of my political beliefs. No, you wouldn't. I still love you, yes. Yes, let's end this conversation because I can feel a political storm brewing, and I think it would be best that we just let them be them and we the people be we the people. I love you too. Talk to you later. Wise decision not to talk politics. Much love. Peace. Let's waste no time, folks. Let's get to it. Story number 5. Everyone is preparing for the worst. Why? Fortune has a headline explaining how fears spike after Trump refuses to promise economic growth. He says that it will. He doesn't know if it's going to continue on, but he doesn't know if economic growth is going to continue with it, folks. This report echoes the concern of uncertainty hitting the market. The article hones in on Trump's aggressive plans and gives the reader needed information moving forward. Folks, this story is still developing and explains why everyone is preparing for the worst and hoping for the better. Story number 5, Big B. Story number 6 is running the government like a business constitutional. Has it ever been, folks? Having a seasoned businessman in the White House and the chatter about running this so-called American government as a business has kept the Trump administration in top headlines when it comes to what is and is not constitutional and running the government as a business. It is a government, a democracy, a representative republic, folks. So Trump's effort to make government more efficient and home in on cutting taxes while aggressively cutting waste by any means necessary has this story trending. That any means necessary echoes this. So is the government just there? Is it just in the way? Are we just allowed to break the rules by any means necessary? Leaving the question is the government is running it like a business constitutional? These are the big questions headed into these next few months. Big headlines. Story number 6 also made to the top 2. Story number 7 and the top 2 international headlines and developing news stories that made this week for you. To keep you informed, folks, if you don't get up this early, you want to check out the show on Mondays. I do upload it to the website on Mondays. It's like a time capsule. You go there, you see all the shows and all the community activity that I've done over the years that I've been able to do by the grace of God. Story number 7. The housing market is in top headlines. It's still in top headlines. CNN has a report published April 17th homing in on the mortgage rate story. The headline states that mortgage rates have climbed to their highest level in 2 months due to the tariff war. The article shows that the American dream of owning a home is in a dangerously unaffordable spot. This report proves that no one was prepared for a market that could accommodate those who could not afford the rising cost of living. Folks, this story is still developing. That's why story number 7 almost made it to the top this week. Big. Story number 8 and the top international headline and developing news story that made this week. Folks, if you do want to show some support, what I do here, it does not take much. All I do is visit the website on the screen, buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or to sponsor a program, or you can stop at the store at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio, and buy something in the store. Story number 8. Does job cuts and uncertainty equal a bad economy? It's a big question. USA Today has a headline published April 22nd explaining the job numbers. Now, the report explains how 22 million laid off workers have sought unemployment benefits, sparking chaos in the payment system and compounding the financial woes of jobless Americans, as stated in the report by Paul Davidson. Now, the report's main focus seems to be centered around informing the reader about what is taking place in the unemployment sector. A report by MoneyWise explaining how federal job cuts that are pushing U.S. layoffs near COVID level highs is also keeping the story in top headlines because it emphasizes that everyone is feeling the burn. The key word is everyone. Well, folks, there are top 8 local and international headlines and developing news stories that I made this week. I hope you got something out of today's program. I always get something out of the research. As usual, I'd like to thank all the news outlets, the journalists, people on the front lines. You deserve all the credit. I'm just the mediator, the man in the middle, navigating your stories just to keep you informed. Folks, if you do want to show some support, it does not take much. All you have to do is visit the website on the screen, buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or to sponsor a program. Or you can stop at the store at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio, and see my smiling face. Well, folks, I am out of here. I'll be back next week and look through over 200 or more stories just to keep you informed. Have a good week heading into May. Thank you for tuning to the media with me, Brian West. Peace.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.